This is Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Unplugged. The podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, your host of Pat Soundbytes Unplugged podcast. And man, do I get a doozy one for you. Episode number 97 as we creep closer and closer to number 100. Mr. Reb Beach, yes, incredible guitarist. Well, let me tell you, the man is an incredible singer as well, and songwriter and guitarist. That's right, Reb Beach, Winger, Whitesnake, and now add Black Swan. Cool guy, great chat. And Reb's got a solo instrumental that comes out on Friday, November the 6th. A View from the Inside on the Frontier Music label. And it's really awesome, gotta say. When you think of instrumentals, you're probably thinking of something shredded and crazy. It's nothing even close to that. It's really good work. Great diversity. And we had a fun chat. Now, I don't know how much you know of Reb Beach, but Reb had a solo album back in 2002. It's called Masquerade. And that was a pretty good rock album, I gotta say. Although it was released, I want to say, like Universal Japan. But I remember listening to that, and I got a copy of it. And the man can sing. I mean, yeah, he's been with Dokken and Alice Cooper and Night Ranger, and he's an accomplished studio musician. But the man can sing, and we're just not used to it. But he had an instrumental track in the Masquerade album, and that was great. As I look for my Get Out and Walk. Great instrumental. A lot of fun. So he did it, and now he just finally got this instrumental album done after about 20 years. Now that he's got the time because of the COVID. But all good. I encourage you to go out and check that out. He talks about Winger's got an upcoming album. We talked Little Whitesnake, Flesh and Blood. We talked Black Swan. Reb is in Black Swan with my good friend Robin McAuley, Jeff Pilson, and Matt Starr. And check that out. Shake the World. If you follow me on the radio, follow me anywhere, you know I love Black Swan as much as I love Whitesnake and Winger, of course. But all good stuff. Great chat, Mr. Reb Beach. Go out and buy it. And he also still is doing guitar lessons, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp Masterclass, and he's got some spots available, and he gives you the tips. He shares some stories. I think it's all on Zoom, and it's for Saturday, November the 7th. Only 25 seats, so go out and get yours today if you want to talk to somebody that's been in the business for over 30-something years, knows what he's talking about. The man, as Kip Winger says, is the king of multiple rock riffs. How cool is that? Hey, if you like what I do, I appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Please continue to subscribe on my podcast. Don't hesitate to share and tell all your friends, as I'm doing my best to keep new music alive on the radio airways and also on video on Pat Soundbytes IGTV on my Instagram. Okay, enough of me. Time for Mr. Reb Beach. As always, live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short.
Hey, this is Reb Beach from Whitesnake and Winger, and you're listening to Pat Soundbytes Unplugged.
WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Keeping new music alive on the radio airways is what I do, and I got a great one for you today. One of the indisputable guitar giants of our current rock and roll scene, got an incredible resume, playing with magnificent musicians throughout his career, from Alice Cooper to Dokken to Night Ranger, accomplished studio musician with Howard Jones, Twisted Sister, Roger Daltrey. He is in Winger, he is in Whitesnake, and now we can add the great supergroup of Black Swan, and I'm talking Mr. Reb Beach. How are you, Reb?
Hey, Pat. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, man. Thanks for your time today. Rev's got a solo instrumental that comes out actually tomorrow, November 6th on Frontier Music. And if you're a fan like me of Stevie Vai and Joe Satriani and even Eric Johnson, well, fasten your seatbelts for this and crank it up, because you're gonna love it. I gotta say, Reb, I like a lot of the tracks here, and I like the diversity with the tracks.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice to hear. You know what? I've heard that from a few people. That some people were saying that they were thinking it was just going to be like a shredder record, and all just like just all just jamming, fast from the middle and fast in the beginning and the end. And honestly, I wanted that diversity. I wanted to have it be a full-on listening experience that wasn't just mechanical. So it's all about the melodies and catchy melodies and diversity in the songs, so that you can hear a heavy rock song, and then you can also hear a funk song, or even a song with some jazz overtones.
Absolutely.
And I think I achieved it after 20 years. I really worked on it for like a really long time, writing it, because it was just a hobby. Everything else has had a deadline, like Black Swan and Dokken and Whitesnake and Winger. I always have to record something and have it done by a certain time, and so I kept putting this thing on the back burner as just a little hobby late at night. And so finally, with COVID, I was able to sort of dot the I's and cross the T's and get it out there.
Well, I'm glad that you did, my friend. Black Magic is a killer. I love Little Robots. I got that Joe Satriani sound. Aurora Borealis, a little Irish jig sound, very melodic.
It was originally called Finnegan's Wake, and I just hated that name. So I asked Rod Morgenstein from Winger, I said, what would you call it? He said, how about Aurora Borealis? And I said, well, that's a different kind of cool name, even though it has nothing to do with how this song makes me feel. What the heck? It's an instrumental record. Who cares?
Attack of the Massive got such cool jazz infusion. I'm like,
nice.
Wow. The Way Home, the bass, it was like so cool, funky sound. I'm like, you were like right on. You think, I love Joe Satriani. I love instrumentals, but it's not like, people think, oh my God, it's going to shred and shred and shred. Not at all. I think my favorite, and I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times, I'm falling in love with Sea of Tranquility. I don't know why, but
wow.
It's really got my attention. So we're probably going to, now that I'm the program director, I'm going to probably put like 3 or 4 of them on a rotation, but Sea of Tranquility is definitely going to make that cut. Got to tell you that.
So nice to hear. And listen, really, really, really thank you so much for actually listening to the entire record. It's only 42 minutes, but you really listen, because you are talking about every song here. And Sea of Tranquility, there's been 3 reviews of the album so far, and all 3 have said that they love that song. And it's the last song, which is the ballad. And so typically in Winger and Whitesnake, we do a ballad at the end of an album. So I wanted to do that on this one. And it's a lovely tune, and so thank you for picking up on that.
And you know what? You actually did that. I'm a big fan of Masquerade. I loved Masquerade when it came out. It was so radio catchy, and I don't know. You got fantastic vocals, and between Masquerade and Ghost, and I'm gonna and the last one, Love So True. Maybe I listened to it the wrong way. Was another one of my favorites, and it kind of was the last song I listened to. Like last week or so when I was preparing for our chat, and I'm like, wow. But this isn't your first rodeo, because the folks know you with instrumentals. Get Out and Walk. I mean, that's a cool instrumental back then.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good instrumental. I really liked that one. That was kind of like my Satch Boogie sort of song, which is the hit he had from his big first album that went gold, Surfing with the Alien. And yeah, Masquerade, I'm very proud of Masquerade, and people liked that album a lot, and I think people were surprised that it was my voice. Everyone thought it was, oh, there's Kip Winger singing on that? And so I've been writing for that as well, for Masquerade 2. I'm about halfway done with it, actually, and that will be my next record. Well, this is one that the fans have been asking me for forever, so I'm so happy it's finally coming out tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, yeah, no, I can't wait for a follow-up of you singing with other tracks. I mean, my goodness. I mean, was that part of the prerequisite that you had to be like a singer for David to grab you in Whitesnake back in the day?
Actually, I got the gig because I sang, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, there was other guys up for it, but none of them sang. It's hard to find like a shred guitar player, like a, I don't know, for lack of a better word, flashy guitar player guy who can sing.
Right.
And luckily, thank you, God, I have a strong voice and I sing in tune. So that got me Alice Cooper as well, by the way.
Wow.
That's how I got Alice. There was 20 people at the audition. And even Warren DeMartini from Rat was there, because there was no one any work, because 80s was over, like overnight. So and so I stepped up and sang Poison at the audition, and Alice immediately said, "You got the gig. I don't even care. I don't need to see anymore. You got the gig because you're singing."
Very cool. Well, I love his lineup. I mean, Tommy and Nina and Ryan, Roxy, and Chuck, they do a great job. They all can sing and do a wonderful job. Get to see them every year. I got to see you. I'm become somewhat friends with Joel, and seeing you guys up in Saratoga with the whole Foreigner and Jason Bonham, and I said to Joel, hey, I got to go up to check you guys out again in the Turning Stone Casino. And I'll never forget, it's like the show started getting delayed, and I said, well, I might as well get another beer. And at the end of the show, Joel was telling, I had my brother with me, he's like, yeah, I guess we were blowing light bulbs out during the sound check. And David was back on the phone with lawyers and back and forth, and there was a little bit of a delay, but it was a fantastic show. Been a big fan of Flesh and Blood, and really, really good stuff.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I remember that night, actually. The electric company couldn't handle the power of Whitesnake. Snakes.
It was so cool. Yeah, to hear that, I said, I've never heard that before. And Joel says, oh, yeah, David's on the phone and calling the UK and lawyers. And I'm like, well, I got another beer out of it. It was okay.
Yeah.
It was.
Who are these people? Where is this place? I want to sue all of them. You're all going to jail. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's saying it's over. No, but Flesh and Blood was a great Whitesnake record, and it was an honor to write with David. Really, he's just a legend. And so that was a great time for me.
And that's pretty much what Joel says. I said, how did you come up with, you doing the lead or a Reb doing the lead? And he goes, it just worked. It really worked out. And working with David, he says, David knows exactly what he wants and how he wants to do it. And he says,
well, I'm the music director, and that's my decision, by the way. And so, maybe he didn't say that, but I was the one who divvied up the solos, and I said, just do it, let's just split it down the middle so there's no weirdness.
Right.
And also there's solos that are obvious Les Paul solos, and so solos that are obvious, like, blues kind of solos. And so I took the bluesy ones and I gave him the Les Paul ones, and it worked out perfectly.
No, it was great. And then to see you guys do it live, I mean, it was insane. It was very, very cool. And now you get my other guys, my buddy Robin McAuley and Black Swan. I talked to Robin twice about it, and I fell in love with Big Disaster and Shake the World. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I got to see you guys. I want to see it live. And, the chances of that happening are...
Well, a little slim. Just if we get back to touring, we're going to do Foreigner and Winger first, probably, or Whitesnake, whatever. But yeah, that record, those were all riffs that Kip turned down for Winger, and I came in with about 50 guitar riffs, and Jeff Pilson was like a kid in a candy store. I said, take this riff, I want this riff, put this here, this is a verse, we'll use this one for a chorus. And he knew right away, because he's like a arranger, composer, genius. And we wrote the whole album in 10 days. And then you get Robin McAuley in there, and you can just write a riff that just goes dun 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 dun, and Robin McAuley will make it sound amazing,
I said, Robin, where did you come out? He says, Jeff. He goes, he was just going to be the producer. And finally we said, no, you got to play bass. He started playing bass before you got it. And then obviously Matt, I think, works with Robin when they play out in Vegas. And I said, wow, what a super, super lineup. So I've been playing the crap out of those tracks. Have been on our rotation since it came out, man.
That's awesome. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, no, I think it's... look, I found my niche. It was like everybody can play the hits, and I found this... I'm like, why... What is going on here? I mean, that's what you guys do. I say to Joel all the time, I love his Dying to Live. Joel Hoekstra's 13, and I know he does it on the Rock Cruise, but there's so much great music out, and I build my audience that way. And then I came up with the idea, I don't know if Joel told me, I don't know, you could ask Joel, I came up with the idea of Pat Calamari's 5-4 It All, where I meet you guys before or after the show, and if you roll 5 dice, and if you roll a 5 of a kind totaling in 3 rolls, I play the entire album on my show. So,
oh man,
you got to see the video of Alice Cooper doing it, and Billy Gibbons, and Night Ranger, Kelly Keegy, and all those, everybody. Now I'm the dice guy. I'm like, I just wanted to come up with an idea to support you guys, and now we're rolling the dice. But it's all super cool, Reb, and I can't wait for you guys to get the green light and get to see live music again. I saw that I guess you played maybe in your hometown of Pittsburgh in October, so that at least you got to play, I hope, right?
Yep, we played. It was an outdoor gig, and had about 400 people there, and they were all very, very happy to see a show. And it went well. We did a tribute to Van Halen, and it was great to play live again, for sure. And I mean, everyone's just jonesing to see a show, And these people, these fans of live music, they're like alcoholics. They're like drug addicts. Like, they have to have their live show. Like, they're shaking. Like, please, I need it. I've got to have it. And so, and we're kind of the same way. All of us artists, we're dying to get out there and. I belong on the road. I'm a road dog. Just stick me in a hotel with my suitcase and, Netflix. That's when I'm the happiest.
My last show was February 15th, Roger Hobson of Supertramp, and I don't know what happened after that. But like for you guys, I said to my wife, should we try to just go to the show? It's like in a drive-in theater. My wife looked at me, you nuts. What, are you going to hit the horn or something? And, doing interviews with, musicians, they're like, yeah, we get on stage, we play the first 3 songs, and there's no energy, there's nothing feeding back, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, I get it, I know that Keith Urban went out and played a show.
Yes.
And said that the horns were just really bugging the heck out of him. And he was trying to, sing, darling, sing his country music, and oh man, I can only imagine. But look, I do it. I would do it if I had to.
I hear you. You got Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp coming up too on Saturday. I know you've been doing that. Any openings left for any of our listeners to sign up?
I believe there are. Yes, sir. Just Google, Red Beach Masterclass, and it's going to be fun. I've got lots of licks that are easy to play that sound like you're a god when you play them.
I read a quote somewhere. Kip said, "Reb is the king of multiple rock riffs at any time."
I can come up with rock riffs instantly. They just kind of spew out of me, but I'll forget them about 10 seconds later. So you have to have the recorder on. And I also won't know if they're awesome or not. So someone has to go like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." For me to go, "Really?" It happened with Pilson like 100 times.
That was good.
And on the Black Swan thing, most of those solos were first take. And that's not true with Winger and Whitesnake. You try and make them perfect. And with the Black Swan thing, Jeff is such an excitable guy and I would play a solo and he'd say, "You did it, that's it." First try. He'd say, "Just listen to this." And I'd say, "Well, it's not bad." And that would end up being the solo. So anyway, yeah, I'm good at coming up with riffs. That's my forte, and I'm sticking to it.
Excellent. Well, I also made a note that 32nd anniversary of the debut Winger album that peaked at 21. I'm like, man, am I getting old? I'm like, damn.
Gee whiz. Is that what it is? 32nd. Huh?
32nd.
Yeah, I guess so. Sure. Yeah. 1988.
I think I got to see Winger. The first time I got to see right when you guys came out with Pull, which I think is probably my favorite Winger album back in like
mine too, Pat. That would be Pull. That's my favorite. That's when we got away from that pop writing thing. We got away from Bo Hill, who was great, but Bo, was always pushing us to write the hits. And so Pull, we went off and did our own thing.
I said to Kip, "I love your stuff, but Pull really separated a lot there." And I said that was definitely my favorite. And I like the Better Days Coming All-Star video, which was pretty cool.
That was great. That my granddaughter's in that, dancing through the whole thing. And that was very cool. We got Alice and Alan Parsons and
I saw
Klein.
Yeah, I saw Klein. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
super cool. They did that. It was a perfect song for the times,
Well, the album is called A View from the Inside. It's an incredible instrumental, and it's not a shredding. I'm telling you, you're going to want to crank it anyway. It's got great diversity. I support it. I'm going to be putting 3 or 4 tracks on our rotation here in New York. And certainly, before I let you go, Reb, anything cooking on the Winger side of things with Kip?
Oh, yeah. The Winger is just going swimmingly. I'll say in my yacht rock voice. It's going swimmingly. Honestly, it's really, really good. The new Winger album, I like it better than Better Days Coming already. And we've written 11 songs, but Kip threw away 6 of them, saying that this has to be like a Boston record, like the first Boston record, where every song is undeniable. And he just wants it to be, progressive. I've brought in a ton of riffs, which now will go to Black Swan, because Kip wants them to be progressive and like nothing he's heard before. I brought him these riffs that are just straight ahead rock riffs, and he said, "I already know what the next 3 chords are going to be after I've heard 3 chords." He wants. We're going for something that's poppy, sing along stuff, yet cool, heavy, progressive riffs, kind of like Karma. That's what we're going for, and that should be out in May. I'm flying back on the 14th to finish that, and May is what we're shooting for. We have gigs in May with Winger, and let's hope for the vaccine so that those will happen and the record comes out. Very excited about Winger next year.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And obviously Whitesnake, Flesh and Blood. I'm doing my best to try to get David on the phone or do a Zoom, man. I'm being persistent, but I know he just released Love Songs last month or so. So trying to send him coffee.
Great with those compilations. People love those compilations.
Oh, we love it. I guess I gotta send him coffee up in Reno or something. Man, killing me. Reb, thank you.
Send him tea, darling. Tea.
Tea. Well, come on, Pat Calamari. Tea. Come on, David.
Awesome.
Reb, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I have, and much success.
Very much I enjoyed it. Thank you. It's always lovely to talk to you, Pat. You're a wonderful, wonderful interviewer, and I will do an interview with you anytime, anywhere.
Man, it means a lot. I got to get you, got to get Joel again, and we'll be rocking. We got to roll the dice. We got to get you back on the road so we can roll the dice for both of you guys again.
I want to do it. I feel left out. I want to do it.
Excellent. There he is. Reb Beach, Winger, Whitesnake. What else did I do? Black Swan, but he also does his own solo stuff, and I certainly tell you to not only check out A View from Inside, but check out Masquerade. It's all good on Pat Soundbytes Unplugged podcast.